All right, can Ricky the trucker retire at 60? And update, my friends. We're updating Ricky the trucker. I had a good chance to talk to Ricky yesterday. As a matter of fact, just a wonderful guy. Updated me some numbers and whatnot. And so we're going to dive into this here today at the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Having some issues with my screen share program. I think Google Chrome updated their Chrome browser, which kind of made it a little bit odd for screen share. So while the screen share folks I use useloom.com or Screencast-O-Matic, where they're figuring out what's going on, we're going to use the Google Hangouts. But unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see my big old mug and the screen at the same time. It's one or the other. And you voted loudly and clearly, and you chose the screen, not my mug. So we're going to dive right into this. Don't forget to subscribe down below, my friends. And, of course, comments are always welcome. And let's go to the screen share. And I haven't done this for a while, so hopefully it works okay. Thumbs up helped me too immensely. Thumbs up, comments, thumbs up, and subscribe. I think I said it all. All right. So let's go to screen share. And I think I'm going to click this guy. I'm going to click on that. Nope, that's not what I want to do. So that's not how I wanted to. Let's stop that one. So what I want to do is go to screen share application window. Yeah, right there we go. Okay, cool. There we go. All right, sweet. All right, so now what we're going to do, here we are. So here's Ricky the trucker. We updated some stuff, all right? So we got some updates to take here. Let me make sure my mic is squared away because last couple of times it's been acting odd. All right, there we go. All right, so where we left off with Ricky, we didn't have everything situated correctly. So Ricky told me a couple things that he wanted me to update. First and foremost is he told me he had expenses. Yes, well, okay. Oh, I'm going to go net worth. Net worth. That's what I want to show you. So first and foremost, he had property taxes that were less than what I said. I think I said 4,000. He said they're actually 3,000. And the property taxes are they're not escrows. So they're coming out of his month-to-month payment. There's expenditures. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. So reducing property taxes by $3,000 a year, which is going to be reduce his month-to-month expenses. And so he said, which is $250 a month. So remember, we had him spending $4,000 a month before, and we're going to use that same number going to retirement. I can't remember actually, but going in retirement, we have him spending $4,000 a month. He actually said he spends $3,500, of which 3,000 of that a year is from his property taxes. So when you factor in, he's really spending $3,500 a month. 3,000 is coming from this amount. 3,000 divided by 12 is 250. So his actual monthly expenses are $3,250, if that makes sense. Just want to make sure there's no, we're not charged. Okay, good. We got no fees here. Okay, fantastic. All right, so next thing we're going to go to goals. His retirement expense, again, is $3,250 a month. Now, he does have health care between Ricky and Regina, $4,000 a year between them. So $4,000 a year each, I should say. That's $8,000 a year. The goal is for Ricky to retire at 60 and enjoy the life that they have. Hardworking guy, has been on the road for a long, long time. He's not in bad shape, but he's as a truck driver, some are, and he's not at all, actually. He said he's rather thin for most of the truck drivers he sees, but he's been doing it a long time, and he would like not to do that anymore. I also want to show, and then he has a couple other things here too. He also has in investments, he had $110,000. It will be worth, he thinks, $110,000 in a portable pension plan when he retires. All right, so we're just going to put this in cash for the time being. Probably we'd annuitize that when he retires, but for the time being, we're just going to leave it in cash right now. Just because we're not sure exactly what he's going to do with it, but probably annuitize it. I figure it might generate, let's see, 5,000, 5.5% off $110,000 would generate $5,500 a year or $450 a month. But for right now, we're just leaving it be, and that will come out of his portfolio to pay the bills, essentially, and that's fine. What else did he say? We got that. Oh, and then he also has another income source I'm going to show you, which I did not use. He actually gets $3,500 under the farm bill to allow his land not to be used for agriculture. I actually thought this is pretty interesting. Everyone can make a case why government spending is good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't matter. But what the farm bill did, and I'm not sure which one, if you don't use your land to grow crops for agriculture, you let it essentially build the soil is what's going on here. Compost, build pollinators and whatnot. And I actually think that's pretty cool. They'll give you $350 a year per acre. Now, this is only, I think Ricky said, is only for 10 years. It's good. He's in year number 3. So we don't know where the next, after 7 years, if he'll continue to get that or not. But I'm saying he's going to. I actually think that's pretty good. I mean, the one thing that we need is better soil management in America for sure. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. And one of the ways to get better soil is not to farm it, frankly. It's just not. It's to let the pollination for bees, let the pollination for flowers just dig deep in the soil. Just work as magic, man. Get that, get those bacteria growing in the soil, get the livelihood growing in the soil. That's wonderful, wonderful. So I'm a fan of that. And so we're adding that. That's only $3,500 a year. But the facts are $3,500 a year as an additional income. Plus, we're reducing his income by $1,000 a year because of property taxes. That can go a long way. So I want to share that with you. It's actually funny. His wife raises bees, honeybees. I thought that was pretty neat. I'm a big fan of buying local, and she raises honeybees. I think he said at one point a couple years ago they had 20 barrels of honey, and I think each barrel had 12 gallons. I can't remember what he said. But anyway, a significant amount of honey that they're raising, which she gets enjoyment out of as well. Now, at some point, they might move to where their sons are and whatnot, but we're just going to assume they stay where they're at, and we'll see how that shakes out. But anyway, it's pretty interesting. Just, again, salt of the earth people love them. Ricky shared with me some what could have been tragedies with his wife that, I tell you what, we don't know what causes bad things to happen, and we don't know what causes good things to happen. But for Ricky's wife, what looked pretty just devastating, it might come back, but she was able to survive and has outlasted her illnesses, which just horrible. Another reason to enjoy it while you can, because you don't know where it's going to be. All right. So again, we're hoping that he retires at 60 and stops working, and Regina retires at 60. And again, these names are not them. These names are changed to protect the innocent. We're hoping that Regina retires at 58 so she can enjoy her time with Ricky as well. And again, they are right now, I think Ricky was 56 and she's 54. So they got 4 more years. So let's hit retirement and see how this shakes out. All right. So we're going to hit retirement. And based on the current analysis, they have a 63% probability of success. And that's $3,250 a month of income, discretionary income. We're not changing anything on Social Security or asset allocation. I forgot where we left with asset allocation. I think it's pretty aggressive, actually. So we got a bunch of cash and then equities. I don't know if I'd say that's aggressive. So annual returns there are 6%, so not too high. Well, how's it broken down? I forgot how they're broken down. Well, let's go to net worth. I've simply forgotten how. I know he's got prime cap in Wellington, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, prime cap in Wellington, and then the 110,000 account. Okay, gotcha. That's where the investment's coming. So in their current investment allocation, that's a 6% annual rate of return, because cash are only getting, I think I put 1, and stocks are getting 7, and so that's what we're looking at there. So we haven't changed anything there. When do we have them taking Social Security? I simply do not recall. Let's take a look. Social Security, we have him taking it at 68. Okay, so his full retirement age, and Regina 62. Okay, cool, good. All right, so now let's go back. So all right, we got retirement, and this is real. This is a real life guy, by the way. This is literally what I'd be doing with Ricky if he were paying me the $950 I charge for a financial plan. So based on these models, they got 63% probability of success with a median liquid net worth of $383,000. So let's go to confidence. And as long as that blue vein isn't going to 0, I'm pretty comfortable with that. And we go to 77 years old, and he has a 5% chance of having no money left, and a 5% chance of having over 1.7 million of liquid net worth. The median is 604,000. Again, just median means 50% of the time is above that, 50% of the time is below that. But then we start to get a little bit more dicey over here. I'm looking more at the 25% range. I just want to make sure that 25% range there, folks, doesn't start going down to to zero. So here we're 25% of the time he has between 0 and 152,000 of liquid net worth with a median of 587. And I'm pretty comfortable with that, but we go up to 87, 88 years old, and 25% of the time or more, he has no money, liquid net worth left over. I'd still like to avoid that to some degree. I'm not all that worried about it. As I always show you, I'll show you why. Here's a cash flow. Let's go to expenses. Remember, financial planning is expense driven. Everything is expense driven. Here's our healthcare. I'm inflating healthcare by 5% a year, my friends. I'm inflating housing and all other expenses by 3% a year. I'm only inflating Social Security by 2.6. So if you look at total expenses, you can see is going by, here they're 62, they're spending, $60,000 a year. We go down to 72, they're spending $82,000 a year. We go to 82, they're spending 115. There's just no legitimacy of saying that's going to happen. I mean, we don't know, but still caution was served here for sure. And if we go to income inflows, we see we got the other income 3,500. Again, I'm assuming that stays for the duration. Frank, they might sell their house. Actually, is probably what's going to happen, and then they won't get that income, but they'll get a significant amount of inflow from selling their home and buying something smaller on an acre. So salary goes away. Social Security kicks in for Regina at 62. Again, that's only been inflated at 2.6, and Social Security kicks in for Rickey at 68. So at this stage, they have, let's just go here. When they're 70 years old, they have $62,000 of income with $25,000 of required distributions, and their expenses are $77,000. So they have surplus income of $7,800, which is going to go to their taxable accounts. And what you'll see is taxable accounts, taxable accounts, taxable accounts, and then it just drops like a brick in water, and then starts picking back up again when they start pulling money out of their accounts in terms of required distributions, but they're not spending it all. All right, so that's pretty good. That makes it look pretty good. Now, if we have some bad markets, let's go to stress test. This might be pretty. This might be painful here to see if the markets do. Yeah. So there we go. So we have 63% baseline. If we get a 20% market crash, the first year of retirement is going to drop it to 49.5. And a 20% market crash isn't. I mean, that's normal stuff, man. I mean, that's nothing too shabby. That's not likely to happen. It easily could. 40% market crash, and to hit refresh. Yeah, look at that. It drops to 34.2. So we got to be very, very careful. Now, remember, probability of success is just how much they have in liquid net worth. It's not if they're going to run out of money. It's just liquid net worth. I can't stress that enough. Social Security decline would be a big issue to Rickey and Regina for sure. Frank, I'm not that worried about it. More worried about this market crash and more which is without question. So that'd be bad. No other way around that. Let's go to Social Security. Now, if they do optimal strategy, and the optimal strategy, they both apply at 70, they'll have $300,000 more if they both apply at 70. So let's take a look. We're going to go back to retirement analysis. So if they do an optimal strategy with Social Security, that's going to change things quite a bit. So let's see what we got. We'll hit the refresh button here, crack how, and it goes from 63 to 75%. So that's pretty good. Now let's also change the investments to more of a growth and see what that gives us as well. And that should increase it a little bit, I think, as well. Yeah, 83. So basically, it's just two real quick and easies. They can change their Social Security to optimal and get some of that cash invested. At this stage, I'm not all that worried about it. Frankly, it's not a big deal to me, just because I don't think there's any risk of them running out of money. But that would be one easy thing they could do with Social Security. What if they both took Social Security as early as possible? Let's see what we got here. It dropped it down to 62. So look at that. Yeah, so delaying Social Security is a big deal, my friends. And then if we did at full retirement age, let's see here at 77. So my recommendation would certainly be for Rickey to take Social Security at 70 if he could, without question, simply because that will be if Regina survives him, that would be a nice little life insurance for her. And if they just made it a moderate portfolio, it's 77%. So in this case, let's just go to current strategy, which is Rickey taking at 68, Regina taking at 62. Investors a little bit more moderately when this in retirement, and it increases to 71%. I'm very, very comfortable with that. And that's at retiring at 60, by the way. If they did 61, let's just increase it by 1 year. And I don't think they're going to have to do this, but let's just say they did. Crack how is going to increase it to 88. Yeah. So, I mean, literally just that 1 extra year is a big deal for sure. Take Social Security at Rickey at 68. Regina takes at 62. They retire 61 and 59 respectively. And just keep it. I mean, that's, you can't beat that with $1 million of liquid net worth. I mean, that's not too shabby. Let's just go back to retiring at 60 and 58. And we'll go to hit refresh here. And then we'll go to accounts to see what their asset base looks like. We're going to hit here. This is going to be their net worth. And we're going to go to net worth to show you what it looks like. Yeah. So, I mean, here we're sitting on, 1.7 million in net worth, of which the house is a, pretty significant amount. It's about a third of that, not quite a half, but a third or so will be their home. That's not too bad. And so I'm pretty comfortable where they're sitting at. If he wants to retire at 60, I'm comfortable with that for sure, without question. I don't have any qualm about that whatsoever. Let's see what the tax man's looking like here. The taxes could be painful. Nah, look at that. I mean, they're still 5.3, 6.3. They do live in a state that has no income tax, but the right capital software is not reflecting that, because they might not live in that state at some point, but still they're at 8% tax rate. That's fine. And then you get the widow's tax trap right there where it jumps quite a bit. I'm not that worried about that. So other than, I mean, look at that. I mean, they're 7.5. That's just not an issue to concern yourself with. So I'm pretty comfortable all in large. I did tell Rickey to make sure. I said the big thing you have to concern yourself with is, real quick, just watch this. We'll just change this by $100. I'm just curious. So remember, we got 71% right now. Let's just change that by $100 and see what it does. It'll jump it up to how much? 70. Look at that, $100. It jumps up from 71 to 77. That's $1,200 a year. So as you can see, it's very, very was a particular, if you will, and that's Monte Carlo analysis for it. They get particular for sure. What I told Rick is his biggest thing is he needs to be doing is we'd like to have that $100,000 of cash when he retires that he can draw on for the first couple of years. That way he doesn't go into a stress test like we're talking about, where he falls into a market getting crushed. And so he's trying to have that 100 to 110,000 sitting in cash. And I think that's good. He's 100%. I think that's the way to go for sure. He's also trying to add a little bit more money to his Wellington and Prime Cap. And I'm not going to show that here because I said, look, at the end of the day, let's just make sure you have enough to live on. And if you can build that cash position up to 100,000 or so that when you retire, that's 3 years of income right there. So if you retire into a down market, you just take it from your cash buildup. So in this case, he's trying to put $500 a month into a cash account to get to $100,000 when he's 60 years old, which is absolutely feasible. He's trying to do another $500 a month into his Prime Cap and Wellington funds to get that 401k built up, and that's absolutely feasible. In fact, I can't remember if I got him putting anything in here. I think I did. And so I mean, he's just doing what he's got to do for sure. 15%. So he's kicking butt and taking names. So that's Rickey, man. Let me see if I can't bring myself back here. And I'm going to go back to my big old mug. There we go. Yeah, so there you go. So that's Rickey. So again, I mean, just that $100 a month difference in cash flow, you saw the difference between 71 and 77% is really particular. And that's the thing with the Monte Carlos is they're running 1,000 different iterations. All right. And so as long as I'll be honest with you, if 25% of the time or less is zero, I'm still pretty comfortable with that. That means a 75% probability of success for your liquid net worth, because you can always do a reverse mortgage in which you can turn your home into an income stream. When we have been talked about that. And so he needed to. And I'm not saying he should, or I frankly don't care, but you can do that. All that house is right now, that house is just a liability when it comes to financial planning. The house is a liability. It costs you money. Now you do get to live there rent free, but in terms of cash flow, it's a liability because you got money that's going out $4,000 a year. for sure, for property taxes, homeowners insurance, but it's not a liability. Only in a Monte Carlo scenario is it, because we're showing liquid net worth. It doesn't make any sense. So if he's sitting at 70% with a probability Monte Carlo for liquid net worth, and he's got a house that's worth $300,000 that he can tap into either by selling it, either by, he could raise some more crops on there if you want to, either by taking a reverse mortgage. I'm just, look, if we need to generate $400 a month on a reverse mortgage, I just showed you how much more the probability was by just adding $100 a month lesson from his cash flow needs. That went from 71 to 77. If we did that to $400 a month, because he has $400 a month more coming in from cash flow because of he does a reverse mortgage, or he annuitize something as opposed to the cash. I mean, we're not even talking about annuitizing anything. We're just having cash, and cash right now is not growing at all. But I want to have that cash bucket out there as a way he can tap into. So he's looking good, my friends. That's Ricky the trucker. And I think that would give you something to chomp on for your own needs for sure. Stay tuned. We're going to do Joe the guitarist, 35-year-old Joe the guitarist. He and his wife, Jane. Joe, I don't want to use Jane because I use that for my retirees. Joe and I got to think about one. Jenny? Jenny's kind of an older name for people my age. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But anyway, so look for Joe the guitarist now, 35 years old. What does he do to make sure his retirement plan is in good shape? We'll share that with you next time. Subscribe, thumbs up, comments. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to share the episode. If you find value in this, by all means, share it. Let other people know that they're going to be just fine with just some basic financial planning stuff. And again, with Ricky, I said, make sure you get a durable power of attorney and redo your will. They have no will. Not really a huge need for one necessarily, because everything they have is jointly owned, and IRAs transfer without going through probate, but it definitely needs a durable power of attorney and advanced medical directive as well. So they're going to go do that ASAP. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks now.